speaking about the dark art, or we shouldn't call it dark art, of songwriting. You might remember a few weeks back, I brought you the terrific story of Brisbane songwriter Donna Dyson and her song, The Spirit of Australia, which she wrote on the back of a Qantas napkin based on the images that she saw on a string of flights that she took going back a little while over North Queensland, but she didn't see them as clearly as you might think to write a song based on what she'd seen, because Donna has very, very limited vision. In fact, she's actually legally blind. But the song is an exquisite description of all the things that most Australians love about this country. Beautiful song. She was commissioned to write it by the powers that be at Toowoomba's Glennie School, because the girls' choir needed a song to sing. They were going overseas to Vienna to perform in a competition called the Summer Come Louder Music Festival, and they needed something that was going to knock the socks off the audiences and the competitors. And this was the song to do it. Well, they went over, they competed. Donna was with them and had the privilege of seeing and hearing that song performed in some of the most prestigious and historic music performance venues in Europe. She's back. She's just about over the jet lag, and she joins me now from our Brisbane studios. Donna, g'day, welcome.
Thanks, David. How are you?
I'm very, very well. How do you sum up that experience? It must have been fantastic to watch and hear your song being performed in that atmosphere. What was that like?
Look, it was really an incredible privilege, David. I think there are moments in your life that will stay with you forever, and that's going to be certainly one of the highlights of my life. Witnessing these beautiful young voices with their future ahead of them, and just singing about, with such national pride about their country. And yeah, it was very, very special. Just to clarify, though, for your audience, there were set pieces for their competition.
Okay.
And the Spirit of Australia wasn't one of their set pieces. It was one of the commissioned works, which was performed on their international tour. So they really were young ambassadors for our nation, singing about our nation and giving it a pretty good rap, really, because they sounded like angels.
Absolutely. And, as I said before, the imagery, not only was it sung beautifully, but the words just better than a postcard, better than a brochure for Australia. They would whet anyone's appetite to want to jump on a plane and come right down here.
Yeah, we hope so.
Absolutely.
It's a good reason to come over. Although when you're in Europe, everybody tells you, it's so far to Australia. But it's not that far. If we can make it to Vienna, I'm sure they can make it over here.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we've done it. You do it too.
That's
absolutely. Tell me about you. We were talking on the phone yesterday, and I didn't realise this. It's very much, obviously, it's a different culture in the parts of Europe that you went to, but in some of these venues where the choir was performing and you heard your song performed, they go back to the days where the songwriter was virtually treated as royalty. It's almost like culture and performance arts are their sport over there. Tell me a little bit more about that.
That's exactly how it is. Yeah, David, I actually think that music definitely is the sport of some of these cultural, beautiful cities like Vienna and Salzburg. Prague have a certain amount of esteem about their musical background as well. And, Mozart said that his friends in Prague were his greatest sort of friends. And so there's a great esteem around music and a really deep respect. So that was very unusual for an Australian to experience that, because it's quite upside down here in Australia. But look, it really was this incredible privilege. I was looking forward to sitting with the girls, for example, at some of the events, but the organisers had a special place for me to sit, and it was very, it really was an incredible privilege and something that I never seek. It's something that I take with a great amount of, I suppose, gratitude, but humility, because, for me, it's about getting our songs into voices that are going to, project a message about the song or to just warm a heart through the song. And so I give the great sort of accolade to anybody who puts the effort in. So, for me, the effort in this particular competition and certainly international tour for the Summa Cum Laude Festival. I just can't sing the praises of the beautiful conductor and music educator at Glennie, Emma Khan. She did the most incredible job of Spirit of Australia. The girls truly did sound angelic, and just their faces when they sang and the dynamics of the song and the way that she really trained the girls in such articulated, beautiful vowel sounds when they were singing. Everything was exquisite. So I just can't sing the praises of her ability, but her heart for music and her heart for the youth to get them to that level. She had such a incredible presence in the way she was conducting, and just, her love for the girls and for music really shone through. And that extended to the beautiful Wendy, who was their accompanist and also a teacher there at Glennie, and of course the wonderful head of department, Sharon Gilbert. So look, I can't sing the praises of those three women enough, because they really put Australia on the world stage for choral music. And look, we weren't alone for Australia. There was another group from Penrose College over in Perth who were exquisite. And, but when you have these kind of levels of people who invest so much time into their choir, into the girls, and just put their heart and soul into it, the results are exemplary. And that's what, I can honestly report on of how the Glennie girls sounded over in Europe. They really were gorgeous.
If you've just come in, by the way, it's 17 past 9, ABC Southern Queensland. Donna Dyson is my guest, fresh back from a tour of Europe, along with the choir from Toowoomba's Glennie School, performing in the Summa Cum Laude Festival and performing other venues. And among the repertoire, Donna's wonderful song, The Spirit of Australia. Donna, now that the choir is back and you're back, the song will still continue to have a life of its own, even with the choir. I believe you're building up now, or the choir is building up to a performance in Brisbane. Tell me a little bit about that and the significance of that.
That's very exciting, because with the Glennie School, only a certain number were able to, in fact, travel overseas, but their choirs are much more extensive than the choir that actually travelled over to Europe. So the Glennie School, I believe, have 7 choirs, which cater for all of the girls' abilities and ages. And so we're going to see a larger number of their choir come to Brisbane, to the concert hall at QPAC, to perform in the very beautiful Brisbane Sings concert, which is an annual event and held in the QPAC Concert Hall in August each year. And they're going to really premiere for Australia, The Spirit of Australia, and we're very excited about that. Look, as I have mentioned previously, I work very closely with Damien Leith, and we are co-writers on all things that we do. There is, in fact, I'll tell you a little story. When I was in Salzburg, I bought a beautiful ring to symbolise this particular journey, because my life is not exclusively something that I can achieve on my own to this level. So I'm very grateful for the other hands that participate in my musical journey, because I am legally blind. So reading a score is pretty impossible to be able to do that quickly. So I have a team who we're just like hands in a glove. We just work so closely together, and Damien and I can finish each other's musical sentences now. We work, so succinctly and so effectively and so quickly, in fact, to produce our work. So Damien and I are very much co-writers on a lot of the work, this particular piece inclusive, and also Craig Alistair Young, who in fact is the musical director of Brisbane Sings. He's the cellist of the Queensland Orchestra and an incredible musical arranger as well. So, there are other people who become my hands and feet and eyes in these circumstances to get something to the full level of production. So, a big shout out to both Damien and Craig. And my ring symbolises with 3 little diamonds, the fact of those 3 components. One is my other partner to make sure that this music gets to the level it needs to be. The second diamond represents my contribution, and the third is representing, people like the Glennie School Choir who sang it, or the artists who sing it, or the orchestras who perform it. It takes more than one to get it to this level.
That's
it takes
a great idea.
Incredible collaboration, and I'm incredibly indebted to just the beautiful people who make up that world for me.
That's terrific. Can I just ask you just quickly, I'm nearly out of time, but you're also hoping, and I must admit I can't think of a better choice, but hoping that the song would be considered as one of the themes for the Commonwealth Games on the Gold Coast next year. Is that would be a fairly hotly contested spot, I would imagine.
Yeah, I suspect it would be, and I'm sure that this is coming in a bit later than other contributions of songs being suggested. But look, it's only just been composed, really. So, look, it really does fit that brief, David. But also, I wrote it on the back of a Qantas ad. So if Qantas are listening, it certainly fits their brief as well. It fits things like G'day LA to represent Australia or Australia tourism. It fits all of those things because it really does speak about not just the geographical landscapes, but the heart of our country and people. And look, the wonderful thing about the Summa Cum Laude, which links into our song, is the fact that it was a melting pot of cultures. It was this rare and magnificent experience, David, whereby you could sit in one exquisite concert hall after the other and see all of these nations using one language of music and being one race of the human race and being united, where no cultural divisions or adversity were coming between these hearts of these young people. So to look upon these young people and to see our future was a very exciting moment because there really can be peace on earth. We can see it through these international relations, and the theme of Summa Cum Laude this year was building bridges, and that's certainly what I was able to witness through this wonderful festival and these wonderfully talented and exquisite youth of our future.
Glad you had that experience. Congratulations on it. And please keep us posted and stay in touch in terms of where the song goes. But congratulations once again, and really wonderful to have a chat to you this morning.